All right, and we're on. Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronouns he, him. I'm wearing a orange V-neck. I've got some type of a sweater thing. I kind of feel like a black Mr. Rogers in. Got my Run DMC hat on. Man, I'm not too bad today.
Not too bad.
Not too bad today. I've got caramel brown skin and as always, dedicated to protecting the lives of all black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. And that's Jody's phone. Hey, listen, we thank everybody for coming out to check out our video minutes. We're going to be talking about some of the things that we've done last week, some of the things that we have coming up. We've got Ruth Leonard, who is the lead of our administrative core. We've got our treasurer, and anytime and anything, anywhere, brother Jody. And I think we're going to have Julian come in to kind of wrap this up at the end. So I want to start out first with Jody reading our mission statement. If you could do that, then we'll bring Ruth in with our guiding principles, and hey, we'll take it from there.
All righty, everybody. My name is Jody. I go by Jay Summers, child of the system, or better known as Spoken Truth. I am the treasurer. And we do these also for our people that may be hearing impaired. So if you see some new stuff you never heard before, this is why it may be added to your programming. It can help. I am a cinnamon toned brown skinned man that is covered in wristbands and crystals and jewels from my city and travels everywhere I go. The clothing that I wear is representative of my city. I don't wear name brands or corporations. It's just where we grow from. And my pronouns are him, he, and we. And this is our mission statement. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer, of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, and provoked and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help to foster development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc. We want justice. Equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, regardless of creed, class, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
All right, thank you, Jody. That's my mask. Also, I need to describe, I've got a mask on today. It's a black mask, and I wear it almost everywhere I go. Need to be. All right, even right here. Ruth, could you please start with our guiding principles, who you are, describe yourself. You've got kind of a bun there popping off today. So, hey, look, I love this lady. I love all of our CSRN members, the ones that you see and the ones that you don't see. And it's really a pleasure that we could come together every week and discuss some of these important things that's going on in the city. Ruth, guiding principles, and who are you?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Ruth Leonard. I am the administrative lead for CSRN. I am a dark brown sugar complected woman. I'm wearing a marigold turtleneck with my hair in a loose ponytail bun situation. And I'm going to read the CSRN guiding principles. All Black lives matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black men and women's lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children's lives. All Black lives matter and are creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And Ashe means he who changes things. Yes. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we are currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership, at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe. Ruth, next month we're going to be celebrating 6 years since we've started this journey with CSRN. And before we talk about our teach-in recap and the get out the vote and some of the other things regarding Refund Toledo, why do you think it's important for us in any group that comes together to have some guiding principles?
So I really think that the guiding principles of any organization really set the foundation for how the members of that particular organization are going to interact with each other, whether it's in a meeting or in the world. I think that for CSRN's guiding principles, the fact that it's a mixture of what each of us brings to this particular organization is really important, and it gives anyone who's new, if it's your first time coming to a meeting, just kind of the framework for how it is that we interact as an organization and as individuals. I think that our guiding principles for CSRN specifically really get at the root of the entirety of our experiences within the world and interpersonally. And it is just really refreshing, I think, even with something as simple as saying Ashe after each of the principles, to know that we literally believe what we are saying. It's not just lip service, and it's actions that we try to exhibit in our everyday lives.
Right. And and Ashe, I think that we said he who changes a thing, but it's one who changes a thing, or one who makes a thing happen, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a he.
Right.
All right. Not at all. So we just want to make sure that everything that we're trying to speak into existence, it comes from a place of love for ourselves and humanity, and working together, working with within our community. There's a lot of give and takes that we have to take into consideration, or you won't. It makes it difficult to be in this work long when I have a my way or highway, attitude. Right. Now, I just wanted to, get my little thing out. All right. Okay. I wanted to talk about some of the things that we did last week. We had Rashaya G in our weekly teaching series. Yes. We also have a get out the vote, and people are still asking questions regarding refund Toledo. Does that mean that we want the city to shut down? Does it mean that we want to kick the police out? Yeah, I mean, no, not all of them, but just enough to make it count. So what's going on with all of these things? If people asking me, and I tell them, please tune in tonight and hear from Ruth.
Yes. So I'm actually really excited that I was able to be a part of all three of those different activities. So the first one was having the teach-in with Miss Rashaya G, and she spoke with members of the community about the history of policing. And if nothing else, the one thing that really stuck with me, and it's something that she even was worried whether or not it would stick, was to compare the film, The Nightmare Before Christmas, with the experience of revolutionary thoughts. And to have it made so plain of having a character who wanted to have Christmas in a Halloween town or neighborhood, and to have constant pushback from those community members. It made it very plain and very clear how it is to be working towards change when the majority of the people in the community say that they don't want it, but it's simply something that can allow a better relationship, if you will, between community members as a whole. So thank you to Rashaya for that. The second thing, when we talk about the Refund Toledo, I'm very thankful that I was able to speak to the Lord's University BSU, their Black Student Union, about what the Refund Toledo program is. We went in depth about how this initial idea came about from the national perspective of the defund police movement, and how we were able to tailor that message to Toledo specifically, and the importance of what it actually means when we talk about refunding Toledo, whether it's reallocation of the monies in the budget to different things such as the Youth Commission or Neighborhoods and Development, or if it's making sure that police officers who choose to remain police officers understand what exactly their job is and the responsibilities that they have to citizens, and whether or not they're willing to uphold those responsibilities when put under the microscope and scrutiny of things such as a civilian review board. So the Refund Toledo initiative is still going on. If you would like to read up about that, you can visit change.org/Refund Toledo. You can also sign the petition. The last thing that we have going on is something that I was really excited to put the last few pieces together on, and it's actually our Get Out the Vote initiative. We have a few dates lined up, but right now what we are really looking for are volunteers. I'm sorry, not volunteers. We're really looking for people to come out to participate in this. It is a paid canvassing activity, and I will pull that up right now. You can earn $20 an hour. And if you are interested in being a part of this, you can you can send an email to myself, Ruth Leonard, at csrntoledo@gmail.com. Right now, we're thinking of the days leading up to the election, which would be the 31st, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of November. First and 2nd, and then on November 3rd, that's when we will do an even wider canvassing for Election Day. Just a quick review of what more than likely you will be doing if you do decide to work with us. You will be knocking doors or phone banking to find out what an individual's plan is to vote, whether it is to early vote or to vote at their polling location. If they are early voting, you simply state that what the hours for the following days would be. If they plan to vote at their polling place, then you would simply tell them what their polling location is. If they've already voted, then that would be a simple conversation of, can you plan to ask or take 3 other people to vote on Election Day? So as we get closer, again, this will be the end of next week. You will be able to find out more details about the hours and the locations where the canvassing will be taking place.
All right, about, I took that all kind of fast. All right, almost lost my breath. About Rashaya, I know that at the end of the teach-in, you had said that this may be the the last one for some time.
Mhm.
And what have you got planned? What are we? What are you? I should have said, what are you planning? I mean, what are we planning in the future?
So actually, we are waiting to get confirmation. We may have another teach-in before the end of this year that deals more with the budget overall for roughly the past, I believe, 30 to 40 years for the Toledo Police Department. So if you're interested in how the budget has changed in relation to how the population has changed, this is just really good information just so you can have a clear understanding of how budgets work when it comes to things like policing, as opposed to how budgets work when it comes to, and I can't say this enough, the Youth Commission or neighborhoods and development. Also, if there are any people who have ideas for teach-ins that you would like to see, let us know, because we would love to have that input so that we can have people, we can reach out to people who are experts in particular fields that would be able to come and have an intimate conversation. That's one of the things that I love about our teach-ins is when we are able to put individuals' questions right up on the screen for everyone to see, and you can get real life responses.
Yeah.
It's not a rote response. It's not something that was rehearsed. It's legitimate beliefs and interactions with people who are experts in their field. So again, if you have any ideas, you can send us a message on our Facebook page, or you can email csrntoledo@gmail.com.
Hey, look, let's take a break. Yeah, let's take a couple of, thanks for stepping on my line. Let's take a couple of minutes. We're going to come back. We're going to come back with Julie and Mac. And also, we got some other things that I think we missed, and we're going to hear from Jody, too.
All right.
Hey, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right, we're back. CSRN. This is our video minutes. I'm Brother Washington, he, him. We're ready to talk about election 2020 and voter suppression. We want to talk about why it's important to get out to vote, why it's important to register, and also what other type of resources that we have that can assist people, especially in this time that we're in right now. So who are you? Something about yourself. Describe yourself. It's awesome hoodie you got on today.
Yeah.
All right.
My name is Julian Mack, pronouns he, him. I am a medium brown skinned man with a Malcolm X hat and an Omega Epsilon hoodie for my Omega Psi Phi fraternity, the local University of Toledo chapter. which was started in 1970.
Hmm.
We celebrated 50 years being in existence this year. So shout out to the Qs, which is the first Black fraternity founded on an all-Black campus, right? So when we
Wow.
talk about Black institutions, you have to talk about the men of Omega Psi Phi.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to say yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
all
fine.
right, all right.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
So election 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Why should we get out to vote? What are some resources out there that could assist in educating people, and particularly our people, and particularly Black men who sometimes may be reluctant to get out there? What can we do to improve ourselves? What can we do to kind of energize our base?
Well, I mean, it's one. I'm not of the belief that we shouldn't listen to people who are hesitant to vote, or that we should count them out, or things like that,
Mm-hmm.
because there are reasons why folks don't vote. For example, I mean, in 6 out of the past 7 elections, presidential elections, Democrats have got the most votes, but it hasn't always turned out to be they take office, right? So there's an inherent distrust with the electoral politics, right, which is understandable. And then when you look at the way that the imperialistic white supremacist structure depends on the Black vote, and then turns on Black people, there is a legitimate distrust there that is real, right? That is real. That being said, there is power in voting, right? And as Black people, you either build or you destroy, right? And it is necessary that we build our Black political power. And taking your ball and going home and not participating at all is not a way to increase your power. It's a way to diminish your power. And there are a lot of entities and forces out there that want you to voluntarily give up your power. And I'm here to say that is something we cannot afford to do at this point in time. We must double down on our efforts. We must really begin to utilize our vote in a more effective way as we build Black political power locally, to make sure we are listened, feared, and respected. Thank you, Jody. Not just every 4 years, but every single election, right? And so that does not come from us voting less. That comes from us voting more and becoming more involved. And keep in mind, voting is just one of many tools of power that we are obligated to use to change this world around us, right? But when we look at the role that America plays, that American imperialism plays worldwide, and that how America treats its own citizens, we cannot, I don't think it's right for us to talk about us caring about our fellow brother and sister, our non-gender conforming individuals, and not exert the power that is given to us, right, as one of many tools that we can use to mold this system in the way that will better work for us.
All right, now you mentioned some tools. I know that last week we were sharing some websites that are of Black organizations that are actually helping to create the need to want to vote. What are some of those websites that we were?
Yes, so I highly suggest visiting the Freedom Block one. Me and Ruth had the pleasure of going in and really identifying most of the local races, aside from the judicial races. And we had an opportunity to go into each individual race and explain how that individual race will affect the Black community, from city council to Lucas County Sheriff to Lucas County Commissioner, right? So I highly suggest going back and listening to that if you get the opportunity. I know I'm thinking about going back and sharing that on my page because it's really important information. There are people who are running for office who are a threat to Black life. I want to make that very real for you. This is a very influential part of the country. Okay. When you look at Charlottesville, that man drove from Maumee, Ohio, right from our backyard to kill Heather Heyer. When you look at, I think there's a story that just broke about Maumee Public Schools and the way that they were having students look at extreme right-wing propaganda, right? Treating it as though, it's equal to regular news and how that can be problematic. We experience the real consequences of white supremacist ideology here. And so it's so important that we deconstruct that. So visit the Freedom Block, right? There's a lot that's going on with the election with the Freedom Block. It's a statewide organization. We want you to get plugged in with that. Also, I want you to visit Black Men Build, right? Go to blackmenbuild.com. We actually will be looking for people to distribute and ways to distribute the Wartime publication, which is a beautiful piece of literature, right? That is Black made by some of the really top organizers and activists that are Black men from across this country. So when you talk about things like what does it mean to build Black political power on a local basis, there's an article about that. When you talk about the things that Trump says that are fact or all cap, right? There's an article about that, right?
Okay.
When you talk about, when you talk about all of these things that directly affect Black men, it's important that we speak up about that, right? And there is, one thing that I'm learning to do, right, is to disassociate myself from this European idea of masculinity that is in fact toxic, right? That teaches us to treat others in a destructive manner, right? That's something that was taught to us, and that's not and oftentimes I found that oppressed people mimic the behavior of their oppressors, right? And that's something that we have to get rid of. So deliberately, as we kind of de-Europeanize our mind and our body,
yes, sir.
right? We need to realize that there is space, right? We want, and we're proud of our sisters for expanding the role of the feminine in the dialogue that's occurring. But there is also room for the masculine, just not in a toxic way. And so we need to teach each other as other men, what does it mean to be masculine and not toxic, right? And what does it mean to protect ourselves as a community and to be protectors of each other at our community. So one of the things that we're doing with the Black Men Build initiative is we will be sending 1,500 Black men out here to protect the polls as well. And we're training people on de-escalation tactics. And we know that this might not look, so that doesn't mean that we fully expect a Proud Boy, right, to be in some of our hoods, right? We know that voter suppression may come in and white supremacy may come in a more sophisticated manner.
That's true.
Right? And to discourage our brothers and sisters from voting. And we want to make sure that no one is coming to save us, and we must protect us. And we all we got, but damn it, we are all we need.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so we can protect us. We can and I want to stress this, whether you are voting or not, as a Black man and as a protector, it's important that you protect our brothers and sisters at the polls to exercise their political power, right? It's important that that we stand up, because we know that there is a existential threat that has been called upon by Donald Trump. And so we have to protect our brothers and sisters at the polls and beyond that.
All right. Hey, look, it looks like I'm getting the break sign. We're gonna take off for maybe a couple of minutes.
Okay, I do want to add though, there is a Black Men Bill call at 7:30 if you're interested in that.
That's tonight.
Tonight, if you're interested in that and you want to learn how to protect the polls, right, from any sources, domestic or abroad, that may try to silence our community, we want you to go to blackmenbuild.com so you can learn how to do that.
We'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, put it in the chat. There we
That's
go.
all I need to say.
All right.
2 minutes. We'll be right back. Thank you. See you soon.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right.
Looks like my screen is black.
Oh,
I'm sure somebody hears me, but you know, you get what you pay for. All right, so obviously some heads are gonna roll for that, man. All right, we put in too much time to have that happen. Hey, look, it's CSRN Video Minutes every week. Join us at our Facebook page, CSRN, or Facebook // Hey, you know how to get at us. Every week, 6 o'clock, we strive to come before you and talk about some critical things that are happening in our community. We also strive to give out some resources, especially in this time that so many people in our activist community, including myself, may be anxious, nervous, unsure, fearful about what's next for America. You know, what's next for 2021. Hey, listen, there's many hotline numbers that you can call. There's some coping and grounding techniques that you can try yourself, from positive affirmations to meditation to controlled breathing, read a newspaper, or just turn off that phone and turn off that tablet and go, and go outside. Mm-hmm. All right, that's a stress reliever in itself. So that's just a pro tip for everyone. And also thank you, Julian, for talking about masculinity as being defined by our former slave masters and their children. Sometimes we just can't live thinking that dog eat dog, only the strong survive, all right? And might is right, you know. And it's time for a change for us, all right? Speaking of a change, I want to bring Jody on. We're going to talk about our community shout outs and solutions. Just because you don't see people doing the work, there's many people doing the work. Jody's going to talk about a few artists, a few community-minded people that already have some things up and going. And all they really need is your support. All they need is for you to show up, for you to be concerned, and we can help them make it happen. Jody, what do we got going on for this week?
A little bit of everything. This week, as we notice, things are getting back towards fall temperatures, and the whole politics and election super machine has kind of charged itself up as we're getting into these last 2 weeks. So kind of to piggyback off of what you're saying, the world is a very complicated place, especially so around election seasons and things where people would expect things to be normal, but now we're on Zoom calls. Now patios are closing. So if you were going out to the restaurant, if you were doing pop-up shops or are an artist like myself in multiple genres, this is the time where we kind of knuckle down. We might isolate ourselves. We might not talk to people. I definitely want to be the first to say that fine is not good and good is not great. If you're feeling upset, that doesn't mean you reach out to everybody and just unload on them, but you must unload or have some place to put it. Mine is art and various amongst things, going out, seeing people. Is one of my favorite quotes from everybody is, "You're everywhere." Well, that is my own personal form of self-care. I don't have to be deeply involved or connected to the organization or the people's lives. I just want to be there for that moment to inspire change. So one of the things, and we got to shout out some people and kind of reveal and show you some things. My art comes in many forms now, from 2x3 to 13x19. The piece I just finished, we've been talking about for a couple of weeks on the pandemic, which is everything that's kind of happened since, what was it? January. So I created a piece with a lot of posters and a lot of imagery inside of it to kind of give people levity and what it has really meant for this whole entire year. I'll probably, let me see that real quick. I'll take it out of the plastic so you can show it to them a little bit better without so much of the glare. But so you can see the little small details and intricacies. And there's only a cookie cutter of what happened. Of course, I didn't throw in there like the massive house parties and stuff that went on, or just randomness, Godzilla storm. But remember to take care of yourself. Remember, there is some outlet, some source out there if you need help. As Brother Washington was talking about, there are hotline numbers, whether it be addiction, depression. You need some place to find your kids, because we're all going and growing through this together, as with online teaching and watching our favorite sports teams play in front of cardboard cutouts for the ultimate practice ever. See, you're supposed to say stop freestyling. But it is an interesting time. And again, for the next 2 weeks, politics is heavily going to play on that, to our social media, to our fears. And I hope that after with the politics and everything is over, you continue to support your grassroots organizations like the Arts Commission, the libraries, the museums, the personal counselors and lawyers and mental health advisors that do this 24/7. It's not just, hey, this event happened and now I got to do some work. It's not seasonal. This is all year long. So shout out to the individuals that run grassroots organizations or boxing camps or learning camps. And there are so many here in Toledo alone. I'll just name a couple, like Chris McBrayer, Tremaine Rayford with the program. We have Brothers United. We have, again, the Arts Commission. They're doing a lot of stuff with a lot of young artists at work, and you can see some of their murals around the city. It's, again, this ultimately, as everybody has kind of been afraid, it has been the year of vision and opening eyes, 2020 clear vision, because everything we thought we knew before this date and point changed. And we're outside, but some people are kind of even still locked in the house.
Yeah.
To where they won't go to a restaurant or won't go see family and friends and everything like that. So it's changed a lot. Later on, I'll be talking about the 5 minutes of heat. But I also went to go vote yesterday.
Okay.
One thing, being a twice elected official and canvassing for the last 4 years on many issues, when I went there, it was good. I made a post about it, and you can look that up. Those views do not represent CSRN in any way. Those are my own personal views. But it was nice to see, even in this early voting election process, people wrapped around the block. In Florida, in the middle of a rainstorm, sitting for hours so they could have their voice heard. That is impressive to see. Maybe the turnout will be an election unless we get it done now. Yeah. Slipping the tongue. We get it done now and vote as much absentee or early voting as possible, and make sure to take a friend. Make sure to let somebody know about it.
All right, and look, we're going to come back with Ruth and Julian. We're going to try to wrap things up. We've got our 5 minutes of heat. Also, we got some other things that we want to just plug real quick. So hang with us. We got 2 minutes. Come on back. CSRN Video Minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
All right, we're back. This is our last half hour or last 15 minutes of our CSRN Video Minutes from Brother Washington, he, him. I've got Jody Summers. I've got Julian Mack. As we said before, next month we're celebrating 6 years of us being together. And you may only see 3 of us, but there's so many people that are part of the decision making, the ideas of the types of programs and engagements that you see in the community. Before the pandemic, we met in person. So at one point there may be 10 people, it could be 15 people at our meetings or more, or just a few, but it gave everyone an opportunity to come out and plan with us. Before we wrap up, we're gonna hear some of the things that Ruth wanted to talk about that's coming up. I think we missed a couple of things from you also, Julian, but there's a couple of things that we felt that was serious. It's in particularly Eugene Cyrus Gaston and what's happening at AutoZone at the distribution hub. This brother was forced out of his job because of a mask. And with the world that we live in now and what you're seeing happening in our neighborhoods at the hands of police, at the hands of vigilantes, everybody's standing up. And corporate America is going to have to make a decision on who they're going to be with. So brother reached out to us. We're talking right now regarding what type of direct action what's our next plan. So, brother, if you're on our Facebook Live, we feeling you. We love you. This is how we get it in. We say stuff here, but we're going to meet one-on-one to talk about what's really going to go down. And also, we want to put the spotlight on our brother Alexander Pullum. You'll be hearing more about justice for Alexander Pullum, another one of our brothers that, like myself, former confined citizen, doing my time for what I did, but this brother didn't come out. No one has any answers to why this young brother died in captivity, died in prison, which I think that is one of the worst things that you can do. And the mom's not getting questions answered, and we're going to make sure that we find out. So keep our brother Alexander Pullum on your mind, Justice for Alexander. You're going to be seeing that hashtag trending more and more locally, just as we champion what's happening in other states. We got to also ride for ours right here in Toledo. And lastly, go ahead.
No, on that note, I mean, I just want to point out that there is a pretty big article that came out. There's been nearly 5,000 people that have died in local jails, right? And there's an article by Rutgers, why 4,998 died in U.S. jails before their day in court. So I suggest all of you check out that article, and it's about people getting, murdered really by the state. The burden is on the state to protect those that are incarcerated prior to, any conviction and after, but specifically, there's been a lack of accountability with this in our local jails, and we've seen this even locally. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thanks.
Yeah, and it's because it's a 3-part series that's coming out.
All right, and go ahead, Jody.
And to pull that back to home, as we say that we also care about home, and we try and do activities, as in with my artwork and stuff like that. The names that adorn the street here, as we put Black Lives Matter in the street, I put them here in this illustration. So we have Victor Dell, we have Aaron Pope, and we have JoJo amongst the names of Floyd and Taylor and Arbery and
That's
Martin, right, and everyone else that we continue to say their name, as in Sandra Bland. So it's not just about the global, but we take care of home as well and are distracted by some other things.
And I think it is important to also bring up, because of the calls that we've been making locally for justice for Breonna Taylor, there have been some changes announced by the Ohio leadership. I want to say Secretary of State, but I don't think it's Secretary of State. Now, mind you, these are incremental changes, that don't go nearly far enough, but changes are being made. And I just want to make that clear for all those that think that, for all those that are keeping track of the progress with and how Breonna Taylor has affected the lives all across the world, but especially locally. There's been a relooking at no-knock warrants on a state level, and when that should be used. And there are more limitations now than there were a month ago. Now I'm of the belief that, there should not be any, right? And no-knock warrants are impede upon our Fourth Amendment, but just know that we are making progress, right? And even those that stand against us are still being more empathetic to our cause. So, I mean, that shows the demonstration of power,
Right.
And the result of folks taking to the street all summer.
Awesome. We got Ruth.
Right. Well, I have one more point I wanted to hit, and I know that we need Ruth to come back and discuss our billboard, to discuss We've got our signs and our swag on our website, and also how everybody can assist in helping us in this cause. Speaking of helping, on this Friday at 6 o'clock at Local 12 on Ashland, we're going to be a part of a harm reduction town hall. Now there's prevention, there's treatment, and there's harm reduction. And we have to talk about this because there are many people that are trapped in the hands of addiction, and they're trying to find their way out. Harm reduction is the bridge to prevention, is the bridge to treatment, and we've got to talk about how the pandemic and the addiction and mental health affects the Black community. So join us. I'll be on a panel, so I'll be telling it like it is and getting it in. Right now, we want to have Ruth come back. All right, we're not going to take a break. I thought we were going to just have Ruth back. Am I right, Jody?
Yep.
All right, so
Ruth, grab
however we do this, you get a chance to see it because even our little screen went to the left. All right, but I'm sure we're still on because
we're still on.
I see the live thing right there. But Ruth, we got a lot of other things going on. How do people find out about our billboard? We're almost there, not that close, but not that far either, all right?
Yep.
We've got our signs, we've got our swag. How does that happen?
So,
Hey, I felt like the police.
Yeah.
All right.
so if you would like to donate to help CSRN continue with the work that we've been doing, or the work that we plan to do, you can donate, as you see on the bottom of the screen at CSRN or hashtag CSRN 419, or you can donate on PayPal, which would be PayPal.me/CSRN 419. If you visit, the CSRN store on our CSRN website, then you can purchase lots and lots and lots of things. We have yard signs, we have wristbands, we have stickers, we have keychains. I'm fairly certain. Oh, we have the new glass bottles.
Stickers.
That you can keep your beverages cold with our CSRN logo on top of them. But also, please make sure that we're not just selling things to sell them. We are fundraising so that we can keep our billboard up. It is currently at
$350. We need $1,500. We've already been receiving some pledges that I hope turn into clicks on our donation. Be as it may, on the 31st of October, our billboard is being moved from Bancroft in Detroit to Collingwood in the Trail. So it's going to happen.
Right.
It's going to happen. And I thank everybody that's been a part of this because we got some skin in the game too. So we're not just sitting waiting to find out what you're going to do.
Right.
We already knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that people still need to see that our lives matter. People still to see that we're valuable, that we make a difference. So our board is going up, Collingwood in the Trail. Help out however you can from now to October 31st.
Yes. The other thing that you can do if you are interested in the Civilian Review Board, I mentioned it earlier, you can visit www.change.org/refund Toledo to learn more and sign our petition to have a Civilian Review Board with teeth in Lucas County.
All right. I think it's time for 5 minutes of heat.
Well,
Julian,
I do want to add,
if there's anything that you think that we missed, now is the time.
I know there's stuff we missed. So there's a lot going on, y'all. And this is, and frankly, there's a lot of pressure being put on local organizers and activists. And this is a time when we need other people to get plugged in really as much as possible. Because this is a pivotal moment in history like we've never seen before. Okay. So partnered with Our Revolution, for the Protect the Results. Right now, there's two initiatives. You may have heard me earlier talk about the Protect the Vote, right, which is being done with Black Men Build, which is frankly to protect our brothers and sisters in our community from this extremist right-wing faction that we know has already been said and has already been deployed to try to intimidate Black voters. That is one thing. Right now, simultaneously, we know that Donald Trump has already said, and he's been the first sitting president to not commit to a smooth transition of power. He has already signaled that he will not accept the election results. Right. And I'm not trying to get anyone too riled up, but what happens when he no longer is telling those white supremacist groups to stand back and stand by, and they get activated? So we want to make sure we are prepared, right, on our side. And there is our revolution has training for we're preparing for November 4th right now. We're already preparing for Donald Trump to not accept the election results. And we're calling on our elected officials and our collective community to protect the voter results so that we can be mobilized on November 4th and however long afterwards it takes to make sure that our vote counts, right? It may take a little more work this year to make sure our vote counts. And so I want to make sure anybody who wants to be a part of that initiative can go ahead and get in on that on the ground floor. We'll be meeting on Sunday, but I want you to go ahead and sign up for it on the link below. It'll be in the chat. But once again, this is to protect our vote, and we're organizing for that locally in the case that we need to mobilize on November 4th. We're not going to get caught off guard this year. We're not going to be surprised this year. We're going to be ready. So go ahead and go to Protect Our Vote. The link is in the chat right about now.
All righty, everybody. So again, from the standpoint of this is going to be a very difficult next 2 weeks. We are going to be here next week and the week after that because it's election, and me and Brother Washington are poll workers. So we will be making sure that your vote is counted and that accountability is held across the board, whether you're voting for Trump or Biden, as long as you're voting, as long as you're using your voice to express what you want to see done in your community, do that.
Fuck that. Don't vote for Trump.
All righty.
You ain't for Black people if you ain't voting for Trump. And I'll say that. You are the enemy.
So, as 5 minutes of heat goes, during this process of getting elected and knocking doors and canvassing, and you're good, and joining other organizations and stuff like that, you learn to be complicit in the fact that this is not about you. This is about the entirety, your village, your town, your community. And again, we just want you to vote with your conscience. If it's not something you would like to see your child look up to or be empowered by, because we are empowering people with likes and love and links and everything like that leave nothing to broken hearts and nobody hugging each other. So, go bring a little talking stick out.
Right.
As you can see the I voted sticker on there, just to prove that, again, for me, this is my life, my artistry, my time, my energy, the things that I've spent getting to know these people and their lives is my life. And I've left it in weird combinations of art and books. And this illustration in particular, to cover off so that you guys can see it, I made in that process to a piece, which you're about to hear, which is called Knock Knock. So in this illustration, there are 7 neighborhoods, from the affluent rich with guard dogs and everything like that, to the trailer parks, the cul-de-sacs, the small cities, small towns, farmland, and everything in between, to show that even though we may be different by where we live, we still live under the same sun. So and I hope this encourages the people that's out there doing census work, which we haven't talked about this episode, but you have until the end of the month to make sure that those dollars that are granted to you by your government is put in the right places, to build schools, to build infrastructure, to give people the hope that they're not just living under capitalism or the slave crack of a dollar. Let's begin. Peace. Knock, knock. I canvass doors to convince people to vote. Not for who, not for anybody, not to tell you what you should do, but to voice your opinion. Tell how you really feel about your community and be accountable, be accountable for you. It's data collection at that point. But as I walk through the different neighborhoods and talk to the people behind the doors, there's a connection being made, a bond between me and you, something deeper than the bond of what box you check when you decide who you want to represent you. As I see the shape of the streets outlined in creaky steps and spider webs, laced with broken door knockers and creative bells, stamped with no sell, and come to the back door but bring nothing to sell. I hope to meet the creative individual, yes, the creative individual that has so many stories to tell. Knock, knock, ring, ring. I have nothing to sell. Are you there? I thought I saw the curtain move. Maybe they have a pet. Knock, knock, ring, ring. I am just here to help. I canvass doors to convince people to vote. Not for who, not for anybody, not to tell you what you should do, just to voice your opinion, tell how you really feel about your community, and be accountable, accountable to you. I almost got bit by a dog today, and I've had 5 doors slammed in my face. None of this will discourage me, because I am here to save the human race. You will not convince me that there is no brighter future, because you can't get past today. Rain, sun, cold, wind, miles of unanswered doors, and get off my porch will not keep me away from telling you how to use your voice. I canvass doors to convince people to vote. Not for who, not for anybody, not to tell you what you should do, but to voice your opinion. Tell how you really feel about your community and be accountable, accountable to you. Hello, can I ask you just a few questions? Yes, just a few questions that might save you. In peace.
Okay, Jody, okay.
So, Joe,
my bad for interrupting you. You were making a point, and that wasn't cool. I apologize.
You're good. That is, again, politics is a very emotional time. We are people. Yeah. We are flawed. We are allowed to love and experience everything in life. I think a lot of people get so mixed up in the fact that these are seasonal moments. These are times where, yes, your blood is going to pump and you're going to get angry about stuff. But when the season is over, you still have a life to live. You still have a family to raise. And you still have to get by no matter who is in office, because they're not coming looking for you. They're coming looking for their budget or their next election or something that's going to entice you enough to not be afraid enough to vote for them over the next person.
Right. And also we're left with
after the oldest people in the country.
That's right. After we're left with from the emotional roller coaster of what I call, it's kind of like the Bizarro Christmas, where a lot of us bully each other into thinking the way that we want them to think. After the election, we still have our families. We still have our friends. So we're not going to allow this to break us apart. Right. We're not going to allow this to sever our relationships that we spent, years building, But hey, look, we're gonna close out with our solidarity pledge.
Come on, Ruth.
I don't know where Ruth is. I don't know if she's back there on the ones
They're
and
having a
twos.
pretzel break
I don't know what's
in the
what's
green
going on.
room.
In the
We got
green
the whole
room.
green room with stuff set up behind here. Y'all
Right.
don't see the after
And-
party.
Well, no, neither do we. But and we got to talk about that. All right, maybe
Hey,
that's
Ruth, you can say that. All right. Repeat after me for our solidarity pledge, as we like to end every meeting. I say your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my sisters
As I love myself.
as I love myself.
I say your name.
Jay Summers.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study to improve myself.
To study to improve myself
Spiritually.
spiritually,
Mentally.
mentally,
Morally.
morally,
And physically.
and
For the
physically,
benefit of myself.
for the benefit of myself,
My family.
my family,
And my people.
and my people.
I
I,
say your name.
Brother
Child
Washington,
Pledge to strive.
pledge to
To be
strive
a part of the solution.
to be a part of the
The
solution
process.
The process.
And not the problem.
and not the problem.
I
I,
say your name.
Brother Washington,
Pledge to strive.
pledge to
To
strive
give all that I can spare.
to give all that I can spare
Of my time.
of my time,
My strength.
my strength,
And energy.
and energy
To achieve
to achieve
the above said.
the above said.
Now give yourself a round of applause.
All right.
Remember, all lives can't matter unless Black lives matter. Justice or else. Peace. All power to the people, y'all.
Yeah.